What's up to all you marks out there, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Exposed Turnbuckle. My name is Patrick, and I'm going to be covering your official WWE Monday Night Raw review. And goddamn, if this wasn't a great-ass show. As we all know, Raw had their pay-per-view yesterday. I gave it a 7. I think that this show was even better than the payback. I rated this pretty high. You're gonna have to wait until the end of the show. Give you a little bit something to look forward to, but alright, so here we go. So Raw started out in hot fashion. So we start Raw off with a women's celebration in the middle of the ring, and you had all of the women contenders on Raw, and then you had a podium set up in the middle, and then you had Alexa Bliss come out, and she said, well, you know, the queen is dead. The queen is dead. Long live Alexa Bliss. Probably going to be one of her top 4 lines of all time. Just saying. That was a pretty epic line. That stuck with me. And then she went around the ring and just started poking fun, you know. Like, oh, hey, thanks. Oh, by the way, I did that to you. So, but hey, thanks for coming. And then she's going through everyone, and then she goes, oh my God, I almost forgot about Bayley, the former women's champion. And then she goes, oh man, I didn't even know that all of your family was going to be ringside. I mean, watching your nephews. But don't worry, Bayley, because now they actually have a role model they can look up to. This angers the fuck out of Bayley. She attacks them. Everyone's attacking everybody. Go to commercial break. Great goddamn segment. Alexa adds to her promo reel, and she really hit it hard and made a staple that it was no fluke. It's not wishy-washy. She is, in fact, here to stay. So an impromptu match happens between Mickie James, Bayley, Dana Brooke versus Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox, Emma, Nia Jax, and Alexa Bliss. And this was pretty much just a way for everyone to get involved. It was a quick match. There was a lot of chaos everywhere. Ultimately, the end was Alexa and Bayley going one-on-one, and Alexa gouges Bayley's eyes and then hits that DDT for the win. So once again, it builds Bayley back down so she can build her underdog story back up, because that's really all she has lately. And it also builds and establishes Alexa as the undisputed top dog of the women's division. And I think that this was great. I think the theme of the night was a lot of things were appropriately booked. WWE Creative definitely hit a homer with this one. A lot of people were thinking that Raw would fall back down to earth after the pay-per-view, but nah, dude, they really revved this one up. Alright, so next up we had a throwaway garbage match between Enzo and Gallows. Just a crappy extension of the tag team match that happened the night before. Basically, Gallows essentially hit an F5, but instead of flipping him over his shoulder, he kind of just flipped him off his shoulder. And after so much, you know, little guy Enzo just can't take no more, and he loses. Total filler match. Don't understand what this proves at all. How the hell could Enzo beat Gallows, especially when Enzo isn't even known for his wrestling skills, and to have that size advantage also, garbage. Piss break material. Moving on. Alright, so then we had a promo in the back with Neville and Perkins. So Perkins is pretty much talking, kind of jabbing at Neville a little bit, saying that, oh, so now do you think that Aries is on Neville's level? He goes, of course not. If that referee knew how to do his goddamn job, then, you know, we would have ended this Austin Aries problem. And Perkins goes, we have a problem? And so Neville goes, you know, championship title reigns just aren't given out, you know. You're going to have to earn this. You're going to have to start pulling your weight, and you can prove it when you have your match with Austin Aries later on. So Perkins is pretty amped up about it. And we have TJ Perkins, now known as TJP. Jesus, like, could they make this guy any more goddamn retarded? Cartoon animations, video game graphics, TJP. Wow. Jesus. So we come back from commercial, and Seth Rollins is in the ring. Seth Rollins says, all right, well, there's nothing left to do, but I want to call out the Beast. I want the beast. I've been to Suplex City before, and I'm not afraid to go back. Then Finn Balor interrupts him, and he goes, well, you know, he's the one-armed man who was the champion, and, you know, I mean, you should remember of all people, Rollins. I mean, you remember when my arm was hanging out of its socket, and I beat you, right? I mean, you remember that. And then Ambrose comes out and said, Ambrose goes, well, you know, you guys can talk about Brock all you want, but, you know, good luck getting Brock to come out and actually do a match. You know, he's doing God knows what. So, you know, the title you guys should be talking about is the Intercontinental title, because I'm the fighting champion, which is goddamn funny because he didn't even have a match, didn't even make an appearance on Payback yesterday. But apparently he's the fighting champion, and this is the most coveted title. I mean, good try, I suppose, but come on, bro. I mean, you didn't even defend the title at the pay-per-view. How coveted can this title be? Then Miz comes out and pretty much just starts insulting everybody. Gets after Rollins, gets after Balor, gets after Ambrose for being a garbage champion. So then Ambrose, the stick of the night was Ambrose comedy got a lot. He got a lot of time for some comedy spots. So Ambrose he's like, oh, hold on, let me just call somebody up real quick. And he's walking around the ring with his phone, and it's just little things like this. Like, this is what builds up in little nuggets of frustration for Ambrose. I mean, it's just little stupid shit like this it's not necessary. There are other people who can do this role. He is good at comedy, but I mean, if that's the road that you're going to go down, that ship's going to go down, because I personally don't want to see that. I want to see the intensity in Ambrose. I don't want to see the sidekick comedy Dean Ambrose. But if that's how he's going to get his money, then whatever to him. But so Ambrose makes a lane call, and he says that Angle just announced that there's going to be a #1 contendership for the Intercontinental Championship between Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and The Miz. And when I heard this, wow, man, I mean, that is a blockbuster main event. All right, so next up we had a adorable little 6-person cruiserweight match between Dar, Nese, and Kendrick versus Rich Swann, Tozawa, and Gallagher. Not much to write home about. Pretty average match. Tozawa and Swann end up going high risk over the top rope, taking out the other two competitors. Gallagher hits a gentleman's dropkick on Kendrick for the face win. Really nothing weren't really any feuds generated out of this match, and just kind of a filler match. Gallagher gets the face win, and everyone's happy. Moving on. Next up, we had Cesaro and Sheamus, and they were headed to the ring, and they're donning their new thing, because they don't set the bar, they are the bar. But you're not the champions, so you can't set the bar. But, you know, we're WWE fans. We can just look past that logical shit. You know, we don't have to focus on that, because this is cool. I mean, there's nothing more I want to do with my hands than just do that all day. Sheamus says he's been living a fog of illusion. He says he's not like any of the people in the crowd. Delete chants hit the crowd. Sheamus says, well, that's cute. Cesaro says that the crowd loves looking into the future or diving into the past, and they never respect the present that is standing right in front of them. And that is a true statement. A lot of the times we're like, oh, you know, this needs to get switched up. You know, what can we do? Who's coming up? Who's going to be in the rumors to possibly make their late night comeback. So basically, Cesaro and Sheamus were picking fun of the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys came out and basically said something to the tune of, well, you're going to talk all this, you know, we're just going to come out and do something about it. And so they climb into the ring. Cesaro and Sheamus do the heel cowardly move, get out of the ring. Just, no, you know, not in wrestling attire. Sorry, man. Good stuff. It was a good continuance of the heel. Cesaro looked really good cutting a heel promo. He just looks very bitter, and it could be stemming from real life stuff, and a lot of the great character traits in wrestlers actually come from real life personality, as we saw when Stone Cold became Stone Cold. You know, that was just him being him, just going on a shoot. So, you know, good things happen when you tap into your inner personality. All right, so we cut back to a Miz and Maurice promo. Not much here, just another Dean Ambrose spot, and then he makes fun of Miz using the gel in the hair, and then he signs off and he says, "Back to you, Gene and Bobby," which was funny because I loved those guys. A lot of the younger people probably don't even know what he was talking about, but I caught it. I see you, Ambrose. I see you. Next up, we had Heath Slater versus Apollo Crews. Yes, that is what I said. If you weren't watching, don't worry because you didn't miss anything. Heath Slater versus Apollo Crews. No Kurt Hawkins tonight. I noticed that. I guess they didn't want to have another Kurt Hawkins Apollo Crews match, so they're just like, well, Heath Slater, go for it, just get in. So one thing that I took away from this match is towards the end of the match, there were a few spots where the crowd was chanting epically loud, and then the crowd was epically booing. But I saw that the fans in the stands, they kept looking side to side. So I don't know if somebody maybe got in a fight, or if someone was getting booted, or something interesting happened in the stands, but sure as hell it wasn't this goddamn match. Apollo Crews hits that sit-down powerbomb for the win. Titus promotes him at the end. Whoopee. You know, he's still Apollo Crews. I don't understand why they just keep throwing the same shtick at him. I mean, if you want to see him get buried, you know, he's just slowly drowning in quicksand, man. I mean, you gotta switch it up. Clearly his shit's not working, so you gotta get on some other stuff. Kurt Angle comes out and he's shooting a promo about basically saying how fucked up Roman Reigns is from the match last night, and he says that Strowman's going to pay. And it was weird at the time, but I guess it tied into the end. Bray Wyatt comes out, interrupts him, and he says that he's not there to hurt Angle, but he could be the savior, and how he's forever trapped Orton in his house of horrors, even though Orton made it to the arena on his own free will and power. But okay. He says that he feels the ail of the crowd and he can heal all of them. I mean, this guy really is like a trademark, picture-perfect cult leader. He really is good on the mic. He just needs something to do, and he will have something to do later on. We cut to the back, and it's another Dean Ambrose promo. This time he's talking to Seth Rollins, and he's talking to Ambrose, and he goes, well, you know, if you were to win, what do you think your chances are to beat the Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose? Which is me. And he goes, well, you know, Dean Ambrose should worry because he knows what I'm up to when I'm going for that title. And Seth Rollins has learned a few new tricks up his sleeve, so you better watch out. Ambrose goes, well, you know, if it were to happen, you know, it would be cool, you know, facing my old buddy Rollins, throwing him around the ring for a little bit, you know, it'd be good times. And then it basically just ends with them staring down. Ambrose touched on all of the contenders. Balor will come up later. And it's just a little thing. Seemed like it was Ambrose's comedy night. He was on a lot of segments. Next up, we had Austin Aries versus TJ Perkins. And this was a pretty good match. Perkins was sent out there to essentially take out Austin Aries. And for a while, Perkins was putting on pretty good offense. I was leading up to it looked like he could maybe pull the upset. It looked like he could get into it. He had Aries hurt. He was focusing on that knee a lot. He got Aries stuck in the Tree of Woe, and Perkins hit a dropkick on the exposed knee. That was a cool spot. He was getting really vicious. Ultimately, Perkins goes for the detonator kick. Aries counters into Last Chancery. Game over. After Aries got the win, Perkins snuck up, attacked the knee some more, and applied an inverted figure 4 leg lock, and continued to punish Aries. So Perkins didn't get the win, but he did some damage. So it didn't show any more footage of Neville looking on, but it'll pretty much just leave a tease where it's like, well, you know, Neville, I didn't get the win, but look, I fucked this dude up for you. I mean, he's weak. We got him. And I believe Neville will do probably one of those looks and just kind of like nod his head, and it'll kind of be like, well, is Neville still on my side? Like, are we still cool? Are we still buddies? Did I do the right thing? So it's an extension of that, and it also ties in with the Aries Neville. So this was a good segment. It was a good match. As Balor is heading to the ring, he's stopped by Dean Ambrose and he's asked if he has some nerves built up because it's his biggest match since he was returned. Balor says he eats nerves and produces results. Holy shit. Companies take notice. This slogan is badass. Drifter walks by. Ambrose asks him if he knows Pearl Jam. Drifter just keeps walking and Ambrose just keeps eating. Yeah, just a little cute little funny shtick. Next up we had Golden Truth are bitching in the back about getting a title shot. Angle says that, sorry bro, your record is trash, dude. Like your win-loss record, you know. And then Goldust plays on their back history, how he's known Kurt Angle for over 20 years, and he goes, Kurt, come on, I need this. And Angle's like, alright, well, I'm not going to give you a title shot, but I will throw a tag team turmoil tournament next week, and you guys can be in it. And he thanks him, and then they run off. Another fucking tag team gimmicky tournament? I mean, come on, bro. It's just... Why can't you just build tag teams the old-fashioned way? I mean, you have a while until the tournament. Why do you have to have the #1 contender right out the gate? I mean, could have just had maybe an extended tournament, but I'm not a fan of, like, one-show tournaments. I'm just not a fan. Next up was a goddamn gem between Finn Balor, The Miz, and Seth Rollins to determine who would be the #1 contender. So, first off, Corey Graves goes on a rant about Maurice, claiming that she's like the sun, and if you look too long at it, you'll go blind, but it's worth it. Maybe some underlying jealousy thoughts about The Miz in real life. It definitely seemed kind of personal and strange that he was focusing on how hot Maurice was. It's weird that he was focused on that when she was just Miz's valet. She wasn't even involved in the match, really. But, yeah, strange. So as soon as the bell rang, Miz jumped out of the ring and basically just told Rollins and Balor to slug it out. So they do for a little bit, and then the match pans out to, you know, Miz is trying to sneak in, and then he's trying to dip out, and then he's trying to sneak in some little attacks while they're fighting each other, and eventually Balor and Rollins team up, and then they start chasing Miz around. And then Miz controlled the ring late. Dropkick by Balor sent Rollins to the mat while holding the Miz, hitting a DDT on him. That was a cool spot. So Rollins was holding the Miz in a DDT position. So Balor hits the ropes, hits a front missile kick on Rollins. So Rollins falls back while holding onto Dean Ambrose and delivers a DDT. This was a really cool spot. There were actually a lot of cool individual move spots of this show. So I was just thoroughly entertained the whole show. Another cool spot, there was a double blockbuster by Rollins. Miz was on the top rope. Rollins catches him for a suplex and then turns it into a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Balor going in for the coup de grace. Bray appears and hits Sister Abigail on Balor. Then Samoa Joe comes out of the stands and starts attacking Rollins. So who does this leave? It just leaves The Miz. So Miz can't believe his luck. He starts slithering into the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3, and we have your new #1 contender for the IC title. And this match was perfectly goddamn booked. The flow of the match was awesome. They all worked well together. They all had really good spots. Miz plays up to his heel tactics. Balor showed off his athleticism. Rollins hit his overall talents, just showing his overall moveset. It extends the feud between Joe and Rollins. And then it introduces the new feud between Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. And then we also have Miz locking up with Ambrose again for the Intercontinental Championship. So overall, wow, dude. I mean, that is how you make a goddamn wrestling show. I gave the pay-per-view a 7. I'm going to give this Raw an 8. A nice, solid 8. There really wasn't too many things that I did not like. Of course, I didn't really like all the excessive Ambrose thing, but Ambrose did the comedy well. It wasn't cheesy comedy. It was good stuff. It wasn't bad, and the matches were primo. The main event was probably the Raw main event of the year. It was just a great overall flow, and I really enjoyed this. Alright guys, and that's pretty much all I have for you this week. Be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe, and until next time you crazy kids, see ya.